Michel Foucault's Power and Knowledge. Michel Foucault's idea of power and knowledge is one of the most fascinating and influential theories in modern thought. While it can seem complex, it essentially revolves around the relationship between power and the way we understand and share knowledge. Foucault believed that power is not just about authority or force, it is also about how knowledge is created, shared, and used to shape our lives. In his view, power and knowledge are deeply connected and cannot exist without each other. Let us explore this in simple terms to make it easier to understand. To Foucault, knowledge is not just about facts or information. It is about the frameworks and systems that help us make sense of the world. For example, think about the education system. It teaches us not only math and history but also how to behave, follow rules, and fit into society. This is knowledge, but it is also a way of exercising power. The system determines what knowledge is important, how it is taught, and who gets access to it. In this way, those who control the education system also control how society is shaped. Foucault argued that power is not just held by governments or leaders. Instead, it is everywhere, present in all kinds of relationships and situations. For instance, think about a doctor and a patient. The doctor has the knowledge of medicine and uses that knowledge to advise and treat the patient. This creates a kind of power. The patient, relying on the doctor's expertise, follows instructions and takes medication. This dynamic shows how knowledge creates power and how power reinforces the importance of certain knowledge, such as medical expertise. Foucault also explained that power is not always a bad thing. It is not just about oppression or control. Power can also be productive and create positive change. For example, when scientists discover new technologies or cures for diseases, they create knowledge that benefits society. However, Foucault was also critical of how power and knowledge can exclude or marginalize people. He believed that those in power decide what is considered true or valuable knowledge, often silencing alternative viewpoints or experiences. One of Foucault's famous examples is the history of how society has treated mental illness. In the past, people with mental health issues were often seen as dangerous or abnormal. They were locked away in asylums, not treated with compassion or understanding. This was because the dominant knowledge of the time, controlled by doctors, philosophers, and institutions, defined them as mad. Over time, as new knowledge about mental health emerged, the way society understood and treated these individuals changed. This shift showed how power and knowledge work together to shape our reality and how changes in knowledge can challenge existing power structures. Foucault believed that power operates through what he called discourses. A discourse is a way of talking about and understanding something. For example, the way we talk about health, gender, or crime is shaped by certain discourses. These discourses determine what is considered normal, acceptable, or true. They are influenced by experts, institutions, and cultural norms. By controlling the discourse, those in power can shape how we think and behave. Let us take the example of gender roles. For many years, the dominant discourse was that men were strong and should work outside the home, while women were nurturing and should care for the family. This knowledge was reinforced through education, religion, media, and laws. It created a power structure where men had more authority and freedom than women. Over time, feminist movements challenged this discourse, bringing new knowledge about gender equality and reshaping societal norms. This demonstrates how power and knowledge can be contested and changed. Foucault also introduced the idea of surveillance as a form of power. He used the example of the panopticon, a type of prison designed so that a guard could observe all the prisoners without them knowing when they were being watched. This uncertainty made prisoners behave as if they were always under surveillance. Foucault argued that modern society operates in a similar way. From security cameras to social media, people are constantly monitored, which influences their behavior. This shows how power is exercised not through force but by shaping how people act and think. Foucault's work encourages us to question how power operates in our lives and who decides what knowledge is important. He believed that by understanding the relationship between power and knowledge, we can become more aware of how society functions and more critical of the systems that shape our lives. For example, we can ask questions like, who controls the media, and how does that affect what information we see? Who decides what is taught in schools, and how does that influence our beliefs? These questions help us recognize the hidden dynamics of power and knowledge around us. In today's world, Foucault's ideas are more relevant than ever. From debates about fake news to discussions about surveillance and privacy, we can see how power and knowledge continue to shape our society. By exploring his theories, we can better understand the forces at play and work towards a more inclusive and equitable world. If you enjoyed this explanation and want to learn more about fascinating thinkers like Michel Foucault, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more insightful content. Thank you for watching, and stay curious.